I'm Jeff Philbin, and this is the show that takes a humble dinner idea and combines it with a great chef, delicious ingredients, and a little love, and makes it into a dinner dia. Today, homemade gnocchi with braised short ribs. Joining me in the kitchen to up our gnocchi game is Chef Martin DeeAs. He's the executive chef at Rooster the Till in Seminole Heights. They're known for their inventive, locally sourced, new American menu. Chef Martin, we're going to be making gnocchi, but a Parisian style of gnocchi.
Yeah, everyone thinks of gnocchi as like the roasted potato, egg, flour, rolled into a dumpling down a gnocchi paddle with the ridges. The French have a different take on it. So it's the same thing as making like a gruyere or a cream puff. We're going to make pâte à choux and then hit it with some parsley and poach it in a little bit of poaching liquid.
And this is going to be easy to do?
It's totally doable.
Totally doable. But first, we're starting with the short ribs.
Yes, it all starts with the short rib. Here we're using short rib from great friends of ours, Providence Cattle Company here in Tampa. They source grass-fed beef farms all across the country. Like I said, this is a staple on our menu, so we're going through a lot of this. We'll do a long braise until it just completely falls apart.
And not only is this a staple on the menu, but this is an OG staple on the menu. You guys are celebrating 10 years. This has been on the menu for those 10 years.
Yeah, day one dish. This and the crispy cobia collar, all day one dishes. When I accepted the job at Rooster the Till, I was told explicitly these dishes are not to be touched.
So you can't get this in the store. This is something that you at home right now are getting the inside secret to an OG classic.
Yes.
Oh, love it. All right, so we started searing our short ribs there. And so you look for a nice little bit of a crust, that color of caramelization coming through, nice little bit of some oranges and some brown. How long would this take to really cook through?
It's going to take about 3 to 4 hours in the oven. Really, at the end of the day, the meat's going to tell you when it's done, but just until it falls apart and it's super tender.
Now, if you don't have a Dutch oven to work with, you're saying that we can use what you have, and right now we're just using a nice, pot here that just has a thick bottom, still going to give us a nice sear, and still going to be able to regulate that temperature to break down?
For sure. As long as you can get it covered and it's got enough to be able to hold all the vegetables and the liquid, there's nothing you can't cook it in.
Speaking of vegetables, we got some carrots already cut up. We've got some celery that's cut up. Can I help you do a little bit here?
Yeah, if you can give me a large dice on the onions.
Okay.
These are all just aromatics to help season the meat and the actual liquid, because we are going to use the braising liquid as part of the final dish at the end. Yeah, perfect. Just nice and large.
Just a large?
Yep.
Okay.
At the end of it, it's all going to get strained out. Yes, please. And then here in a second, once the bottom's nice and seared, we'll introduce the garlic, the onions, the carrots and the celery, the tomato juice, and we have a little bit of the beef stock.
Okay. And this is all vegetables going to go on all together?
Yes.
You're okay with that? Okay.
Yep. Perfect.
All right.
They're all going to the same place.
Did I do a good job with the chopping for you?
Perfect.
All right. Sounds like a plan. And no tears. no cleanest to go. Is this ready to go into it?
Yeah, we can go right in there.
Okay. You like to go on the sides? You like to go on top?
All around.
All the way around. So we're just going to kind of put this there like so. Boom. Okay.
We've got 10 cloves of garlic over here. Well, 5 cloves of garlic over here. We'll introduce that in there along with the 2 liquids.
And to see Chef Martin's recipe for our short ribs and the gnocchi, which we'll be making later, go to dinnerdeas.com or just scan the QR code right there in the corner of your screen. It's going to take you right there. All right. What's next then?
The garlic can go in, and then we can add the San Marzano tomato
Now, you
juice.
just went whole garlic in that.
Yeah, it's all breaking down. And at the end of the day, we're going to take the liquid and we're going to strain all of this stuff out.
Okay.
By all means, you can keep it, but it's going to be cooked down so soft, there's nothing.
You know, it seems so intimidating knowing how much of a restaurant and the impact that you guys have had on the culinary scene of Tampa. And to see it already prepared in such a rustic way, knowing that this is something that someone at home can do, this is awesome.
Well, a lot of people think that Rooster the Till is intimidating and too avant-garde. And this is just one of those dishes that if you're coming into the restaurant and you're feeling a little intimidated by our menu, the foodies and just the first timers can all get together on this one.
I love it. It looks like everything's coming together here, but what have we added since the garlic?
So some juice from some San Marzano tomatoes. We'll introduce the actual San Marzanos in the end. An amazing tomato product gets picked at its height and canned in Italy. And then some of the beef braised, actually beef braised from the last batch that we cooked.
So if you don't have a beef braise ready available at the house,
some beef stock. You can
Okay.
use vegetable stock. I mean, if you really had to, you could use water. The beef and the vegetables are going to impart so much flavor along with the tomato juice that it's not going to hurt anything.
and this goes straight into the oven.
Go straight into the oven just as is, 300 degrees for 3 to 4 hours. Can you grab the oven for me?
I certainly can. All right. And we're going to just take a quick break, and when we return, our short ribs are going into the oven. When we come back, how to hand roll your own Parisian-style gnocchi, that's ahead on Dinner DeeAs. Welcome back to Dinner DeeAs, your daily dinner dilemma solved by the best chefs in the business, and today is no exception. Martin DeJesus is the executive chef at Rooster on the Till over in Seminole Heights. Today, we're making a dish straight from the menu and into your home, gnocchi with the braised short ribs. But trust me, you can make this at home for dinner tonight, can they?
Oh, yeah, totally doable.
Perfect. See, that's always the plus then.
Yes.
All right, so what do we got to do next?
So right now we're going to make pâte à choux. So I have water and butter. Pâte à choux, a classic French pastry. If you've ever had a cream puff or anything like that, that's where it's made out of. So once we get this made, the world's your oyster, right?
Okay.
So I got water, I got butter simmering in the pot. I'm going to introduce my flour, and then we really want to cook the flour out at that point. So it's all going to quickly come together as we get it stirred, and it's starting to thicken up.
Perfect, because before the break, we seared our short ribs, we added our vegetables, tomato juice, and the stock, and put that into the oven. And while that cooking's, we're going gnocchi. This is the gnocchi coming together here.
Yeah, so ideally, once it absorbs all the water, you see those little white specks, you just want to break it up, drop the heat on your burner, and sort of allow it to cook out for about 3 to 4 minutes. You really just don't want the raw flour, the pockets in there when you go to mix. But I mean, it all came together beautifully. You get a really nice spongy texture, but the eggs and all the herbs and everything is going to make it what it is.
Okay. It almost looks like a mashed potato right now.
Pretty much.
Okay, it sounds really technical, but we've got water, butter, flour.
That's it. And then we're just going to keep it moving.
And keep it moving. All within equipment that you have at the house.
Yes, of course. And I mean, even we're going to use a stand mixer here in a little bit, but I mean, when I first learned how to do this, you did everything else just with a wooden spoon in a pot.
So you could even make this even harder for yourself, but because of the techniques and modern technological advancements in the culinary tools for the everyday home cook, you can do this a little bit easier.
Yes.
I love it.
So you can see right now we could still smell like the flour, but it's all coming together and almost like a pastry.
But if you wanted to cut a corner, and I'm sorry to have to ask this, if you needed to cut a corner, could you cut a corner?
Yes. I mean, first of all, when you're cooking at home, have fun and just cook and just eat delicious food. There's so many amazing, pre-made gnocchi products. There's amazing markets like Mazzaro's out in St. Pete where you can go buy fresh gnocchi. You could do this dish with pasta if you wanted to. I mean, at the end of the day, but I mean, this is also an amazing technique like we talked about earlier. You want to make cream puffs, you want to make eclairs, you're starting with the same
This is the base to do.
Yes.
Exactly. And plus, sometimes it's nice to up the ante a little bit. I mean, this is something to show off with.
Oh, yeah. And when you make them, you can make them in a big batch.
I love it.
Yeah, they even freeze really well.
Okay.
But at this point,
flour, eggs, water.
yes, that's it. And butter, of course.
And the butter.
Yep. So at this point, we would ideally allow this to cook on low heat for about 5 minutes or so before we'd introduce it into the mixer. But we can go ahead and get moving. Would you like to crack those eggs for me?
Oh, I certainly can. Now, you want one egg in at a time, correct?
Yeah, but we can crack all the eggs into the same bowl. That would be fine.
Perfect.
So I'm gonna go ahead and add the dough into the mixing bowl.
Okay.
So once we get this in here, we'll add our parsley. And we want to do this on a paddle attachment. If you don't have a stand mixer, by all means, you could do it right directly into the pot if you wanted to. So if you can go ahead and add one egg
And we're going to just add 1 egg at a time.
Yep. And let that incorporate. At the same time, we're going to add our parsley. And we're going to add our Dijon mustard, all of our base seasonings right there.
Okay. And how do you know when it's ready to add another egg?
When you don't see any more of the dark yolk or any of the white sort of separated from it, like right now, it looks beautiful. Yeah, that's coming together really nicely.
And this is... Now, could you do this without a KitchenAid?
Yes, of course. I mean, when I first learned how to make pâte à choux, everything was done directly in the pot.
Okay.
And it's just giving you the workout in your upper forearm.
Go one more.
And then after the eggs are all in, ideally you want to give it time to rest about like 20, 30 minutes while you're getting the rest of your dinner plans made. And then the last thing you want to do is go ahead and get them poached in the water.
Now, this has been a staple at the restaurant since day one.
Yes.
I mean, this has been an original. Like, this was literally when my wife and I had date night. This was always on the menu for us. We always come back. And look at it. I mean, it looks absolutely beautiful. I mean, this is a showstopper right there.
For sure. And it's one of those dishes a lot of people, sometimes we get the attention that maybe we're a little bit too unique or out there with our food. This is the one where the foodies and the just, regular person going out to eat can really come together.
This is where everyone's just kind of having it all be. Like,
For sure.
Cats and dogs getting along in perfect harmony with a dish like this, because it really is just that. It's
For sure.
a beautiful way to take simple ingredients, which you would think of, a gnocchi, a braised short rib. It just kind of works together. But now to be able to elevate it to your way, absolutely fantastic. For a full list of all the ingredients you need and a recap of the directions to make these gnocchi at home and the braised short ribs for the break, find Chef Martin's recipes at our website, dinnerdeas.com. Just scan the QR code to get there. Now, how's this coming along?
So this looks perfect. Like I said, we'd put it in a bowl, maybe cover it with plastic wrap about 30 minutes. Then what we'll do is we'll load it into a piping bag. This is some dough I made a little bit earlier.
Nice.
If you don't have a piping bag, by all means, plastic, you can always use a plastic bag, cut the corner out of it.
Okay.
Here we use a nice cotton pastry bag with a 1/2-inch tip on it.
Okay.
And then we have water just at the simmer. You don't want to boil these, it'll beat them up. And then as they go through, I'm using a palette knife. You can use a paring knife, scissors, anything like that.
Even a butter knife if someone at home?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then going through and cutting them, and we will allow them to come up to the top when they're done.
And what's the size that you're looking for to know that when you need to go through? About an inch there, it looks like?
About an inch, at the most, an inch and a half.
Okay.
We want definitely our gnocchi to be substantial in the dish at the end of the day. But that is all we need, and then we will wait for them to come up, but...
So we're going for like a cork.
Yes, just about.
Just about that, okay.
And I mean, these things are resilient. If you don't want to put them into the braised gnocchi, put them into any sauce.
Hey, I mean, the bottle of wine was already out of the table, so if you need to have some kind of measuring stick, take the cork from the bottle and just go with it.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, this would also have that same traditional way for the gnocchis to rise to the top. That's when you know that it's going to be cooked.
Exactly. But if you hit them at too hard of a boil, they start to fray. They start to get a little fuzzy and crusty on the outside. But ideally, these things come out looking beautiful.
Nice.
Yep.
Nice, nice, nice. Now, you could also play around with so many different flavors. Like, you were just adding the Dijon mustard to it there. What else could you do that's kind of...
chives, whole grain mustard, chives, thyme. I mean, really anything you want to put in there. You just don't want to increase the moisture too much because it will throw off.
That's where you want to kind of monitor that piece.
Yes.
Okay. Very cool. All right. And so now we're just seeing these come to a nice boil, or not even a boil, just for the rising part here to make sure that they're all cooked properly.
Yep. And then after they are done, if you're cooking directly, doing this right before dinner, you can go ahead and scoop these out and put them directly into the sauce. Or ideally, you go ahead and put them in a lightly oiled pan and throw them right into the fridge. Use them that day later, use them the next day, and
Okay, so then these can be held up overnight then, and you can come back to it for the next day. if
You
need
definitely
to.
don't want to push more than a day or two.
Okay,
but
okay.
ideally, they'll be perfect and ready to go.
Now, is this the way that most people make gnocchi, though?
No, this is a very specific type of gnocchi. So normally you think of with gnocchi, it's the roasted potatoes, the eggs, the flour. This is a Parisian gnocchi, so the French version. And it makes it very versatile. It's still light and refreshing, but you lose. But it's not with the potato. It's all just done with flour.
Nice, very nice. Well, they're one of my favorites at the restaurant. They're going to be a favorite for you at home because our gnocchi are going bye-bye into the fridge. We're taking a quick break, and when we come back, how to turn the liquids left from the short ribs into a sensational sauce. That's ahead on Dinner DeeAs. This is Dinner DeeAs, the show that works hard to bring you easy recipes for dinner. Today we're joined by Chef Martin DeJesus, executive chef at Rooster in the Till in Seminole Heights. He's letting us in on some chef secrets today, how to make their gnocchi with braised short ribs. Before the break, we handmade the gnocchi from scratch, and before that, we seared our short ribs, braised them with our vegetables, our tomatoes, and the stock. But to get this onto the table, there's one more vital step.
This is where it all comes together. So already I have a little bit of oil and some minced garlic in the pan. And at this point, we're going to introduce our chopped up San Marzanos.
Okay.
This is where we got the San Marzano juice from earlier for our braise.
You can really start smelling it too.
Yeah, and this is where we're also going to start getting the short rib in. I like to cut a large dice on the short rib so it's all going to break up in the pan.
We took it out, we diced it up. Now it's ready to go into our pan there.
So at this point, we will add our gnocchi in as well.
Nice.
And then we have our braising liquid that was thickened with a lot of roux. So
And
at this point, roux, just a mixture of flour and butter, really just so the whole dish can come together and become one.
Okay.
So we're gonna add that in.
Nice, and let's get the Chef Jeff cam here. Show you all the action at home.
We're actually gonna add a little bit
Now,
more
if
of this
my
tomato
gnocchi
juice.
doesn't look as neat, that's okay, right?
Oh, everything's fine. Just enjoy yourself and have fun.
See, that's the whole thing about
Yes.
cooking. It's all about the process of having just fun.
Yeah. Especially when you're cooking at home. I mean, people stress about things. I mean, let me stress about it in the restaurant. You
Exactly.
know, don't worry about it.
Enjoy it. Enjoy who you're cooking with, and more importantly, who you're cooking for.
Yeah.
It's still gonna taste great.
So we're gonna let all this come up to a boil, which is gonna allow the tomatoes and the beef to break down, and then we'll mount it with a whole lot of butter and some parsley and be ready to roll.
I love it because if you've missed any parts of today's show, you can watch it again and get the recipes with everything you need to make Chef Martin's gnocchi with braised short ribs at dinnerdeas.com. Where else? And how do you get there? Say it with me, kids. Just scan the QR code on the screen. It will take you right there. See, it's already starting to thicken up a little bit too.
Yeah.
The smells are fantastic right now.
Yeah.
It's just coming alive, and it's just
Yes.
kind of balanced in all that
And
layers.
as everything else breaks down, it all comes together. It really marries. Like now we're starting to get some bubbling, so it's gonna start thickening fast, and we'll mount it with ungodly amounts of butter.
That's okay. Everything
Yes.
tastes better with butter.
Oh, of course. That's the kind of stuff that you don't want to not worry so much about at home. But guess what? At home, no one's seeing it, so it's fine.
It's fine. It's good. It's the good stuff. I love it. So how do we see this come together then?
So just to go ahead and finish it, now that it's nice and hot, we're gonna hit it with a bunch of parsley, a good amount of salt, always salt to taste. At the end of the day, I mean, you determine how much salt's perfect for you.
Perfect.
And then we will hit it with some butter and just let the butter melt or just melt together on its own.
Nice.
Stir that all together.
Nice. Look at all that come together.
And then as soon as that butter's melted, we'll put it on the plate and hit it with its garnishes.
I love it. And when we come back, it's time to yum yum on our gnocchi as we taste test this dish to make sure it's a dinner idea worthy of being a dinner dia. I'm Jeff Philbin, and this is the show that turns ideas for dinner into delicious dinner dias. Today, we've been making homemade gnocchi with braised short ribs straight from the menu at Rooster in the Till in Seminole Heights to your kitchen. Thanks to their executive chef, Chef Martin DeeAs. Time's ticking, my friend. Let's eat. Gotta get a little bit of everything going on over here. The flavors on this, dude.
Yeah, the beef, the tomatoes, the gnocchi are so light and delicate, and then just the fresh cheese and the pickled peppers really cut through the rest of it.
And speaking of the cheese, you can buy what I got at the store, or you can make it yourself. And to see how, follow us on Instagram at Dinner Dias to see Chef Martin show you how to make it, because it does have that nice little bit that brings it all together.
Yes.
But that's what you're expecting from you guys at Rooster in the Till. For 10 years, you guys have been setting the bar and having everyone to say, hey, here we are, try to catch us in that regard.
That's what we
You
aim to
guys
do
have
every day.
continuously been moving it because people eat with their eyes more than they ever have before. And so many eyeballs are on the Tampa Bay area right now because of our culinary scene. And you guys have been such a paramount piece of that this is just an absolute joy to see the inner workings of how it all comes together. It's beautiful, because that is how you take an idea for dinner and turn it into a dinner dia. Thanks again to Chef Martin DeeAs. Taste his cooking for yourself, and please celebrate their 10-year anniversary by visiting Rooster in the Till in Seminole Heights and get his recipe for gnocchi with braised short ribs at dinnerdias.com. Scan the QR code to head right there, and remember, if you make it, let us know how it turned out. I'm Jeff Philbin. Thanks for watching, and see you next time with more Dinner Dias. Anytime you're hungry for a great dinner idea, just go to dinnerdias.com. That's dinner, DEEAS.com.